This is the Orokin Empire, and because we don't have any logo, flag or any other sign, I illustrated it like this. To be honest, there are some similarities between the Orokin and the Roman Empire. So, long time ago, before in-game events, this empire ruled the entire Origin system. Today, I'd like to tell you about Orokin's biggest discoveries, which led them to their greatness and also killed an entire population of the empire. We do not know much of the times before the Old War and how exactly the empire was created. The first ever reference to the Orokin is leading to one of the greatest scientists of those times. Those references cannot be found in codex, but we can see them on the walls of Necroloid's room, and you can say, hey man, those are just some scribbles. Yeah, those are, but every in-game language is a cipher to English. It means we can decipher it to some cool stories. So what does it tell? Say hello to Albert Andretti. Looks familiar, huh? He is that great scientist. To the moment of his discoveries, the Orokin had already their powers in transferring their consciousness into the bodies of poor Yuan. In other words, they had some sort of immortality. Also, some highest rank Orokins like Bellas had their own immortality. They just don't get old, but we do not know how they achieved this.
Still, with great stupidity comes great reward.
And the reward for that was overpopulation. To deal with this problem, the Orokin Empire had to grow their territories, and unfortunately, their transport system wasn't quick enough to get ahead of this problem. And Albert thought that he can find a solution exploring the void. This is a mysterious realm that was known to the Orokin for a long time. And the Empire wasn't so happy about their best scientist wasting his time and resources on something that has no energy, no materials. He was studying a literal endless void. That's why it's called like this. So cut your bait and do something helpful, you understand? But Albert was stubborn, so he left the capital and went to Deimos, where he created a portal and stepped into the void. He found himself in his own lab, but it looked a little bit different. In there, he also met his doppelganger. Hello. By the moment Albert turned off the portal, the doppelganger only managed to get his finger through it. It was chopped off. From this moment, Albert started studying it, and the finger started to grow. After which, Albert made an incredible discovery. I do not know what exactly you can get from a growing finger, but still. Hey, I created a light speed machine using powers of the void. Ah, I always believed in ya, you know? Give me that! This technology allowed the Orokin to speed up all the transport of resources and to quickly expand all the way to the Sidna. For those who didn't know, this is really far away from the sun. The Empire loved all of this, but their territories had to grow even further, so they had to go to other planetary systems and start working there. Working? Nah. Actually, main trouble was that the conditions on those planets were not capable of allowing at least someone to survive, and to terraform it is to waste tons of resources which you don't have actually, and all of this is to simply get other resources. Farming for farming wasn't an option for them. That's why they let Ballas and Parentol finish their work on artificial intelligence, which was actually illegal by the Orokin laws. That's how sentients were created. At this point of time they were just called the machines. They could easily adapt to any environment, which would help them to build a new home for Golden Lords in the Tau system. Sometime after, the Orokin became interested in how things were going out there, and they decided to go there. We still haven't tested such long flights. It might be dangerous, you know. You say this, and I hear that we should put some Yuans into the ship and set it there. Ah, right. No one cares about them. The ship is loaded, the engines are working, and start! I hope it was supposed to be like this. We wouldn't have any comms with them anyway, so maybe. Okay. Listen, while we were traveling through this void, I became, more intelligent. Yeah, me too. So, what are we gonna do? If we start working here, the Orkins will come here and destroy this system because they need resources, and then they'll send us to another system. It will be an endless circle of creation and destruction until there will be no planet or system to suck resources from. I also became a bit more depressive, you know? Okay, but you're right. Maybe we should talk to them? Let's try. And actually, they didn't want to attack the Orokins. And if you look at some of the Nataya's messages, you will find that the Orokins started this war. And it's actually explainable, because when you break the fundamental law of your empire and create an AI which decides not to work on you and just comes back, it kinda gives you thoughts that maybe you are f***ed. I'm pretty sure when the Orokins saw that they came back, they launched all the rockets at them. But unfortunately, all their weapons were useless against the machines that could adapt to anything. They even tried to take them with numbers. That's how the Orokins started to create hundreds of military types of the Greeneer and started sending them to the world with the Sentients as a cannon fodder. It also didn't work. The Orokins even tried to infect them with a technocyte virus.
You serious?
I'll be back. In addition to the war with the Sentients, rebellions of other races also began to flare up in the Empire, and all this would lead to the inevitable death of the Orokin, if not... I thought we sent this ship to Tau system. Yeah, me too. Go and check. I think I found something. The survivors. It's kids. Wait, what are you doing? Stop! No! I thought we sent this ship to the Tau system. Now this is your concern. Oh, also, this was Colleen. You may know her as a Steel Meridian leader. Yeah, she was the first to meet Tana, which left her with such look. You created these machines, and now they started a war! You mean, we started a war? It doesn't matter! You have to deal with it! Can I use Technocyte? I don't give a damn already. Instead of trying to infect the Sentients, Ballas have tried to combine Technocyte with a human flesh. He was implanting it into other people's bodies and waiting for a result. The results were the most terrible and unbearable agonies of feeling how your skin and organs became metal and you turned into a robot machine. Warframe. But the first prototype of Reno had a scare him off. Yeah, that's better. The Orokin had already no time to test all this shit, and that's why they sent them right to the battlefield. Where, who would have thought? Warframes got mad and started killing allies. That's what happens when you create a weapon from other people's sufferings. At this point of time, I don't understand how the Orokin still trusted Ballas. Everything he creates tries to kill every single Orokin it sees. But still, they're allowed to send the Warframes to the same rehabilitation center where Tanner was contained. Where, during another bout of madness in our rabbit Reno, he came across Tanner, and as it turned out, their abilities are synergistic. Shortly speaking, Tanner entered into the Warframe's consciousness and take from them half of the pain they feel. Oh, that's so sweet. Let's make them fight! And finally, it worked. Tanner managed to push the Sentients back into the Tau system. The war was over, but at what cost? The system was already shredded apart. Deimos was gone. Lua will disappear too soon after. Rebellions haven't stopped, but for this problem the Empire had Warframes to deal with. And after all this, the Orkins decided to reward Tanner for everything they did to help the Empire. The Tanner appeared at the terminus, gleaming and victorious. Cold and gold emperors bathed them in Saber's silk, and with the royal salute to the honored Tanner, they started slaughtering every single Orokin they saw. Almost no one survived. They destroyed one last thing that remained of the great empire. This is how it disappeared, and that's quite a good story. Story in how in pursuit of boundless greatness they created more and more problems for themselves. And in an attempt to somehow fix everything, they continued to create things that eventually served as their reckoning. And to what conclusion it leads us? Never, just never trust Balas. And that's it. If you like this type of storytelling, you can subscribe to this channel and leave a like under this video. Next time I'll try to tell you more stories from Warframe, like Lore of the Corpus, Guinea, and Tenna. For example, you still don't know why exactly they decided to destroy the Orokin Empire. And that's it. Bye.